Good morning, everybody. I thought today we could do a 10-minute makeup look. I don't know about you, but lately I've been sort of in the mood to wear makeup, but I don't necessarily want to spend as much time putting it on as I have in the past. So I've laid out my tray with my essentials to create this look, and I thought let's just go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. I'm going to start with a little bit of primer here, and I like using primer for a couple reasons, because first we're going to be using a powder foundation, and the powder foundation needs something to adhere to. If you have dry skin, then you will find that using a primer is really helpful because it does help the powder foundation sort of blend into the skin and not sit on the top and not get that cakey look that we don't want. The other thing that primer helps do is if you're like me and you have a little bit of wrinkling down here, some large pores, that sort of thing, adding a little bit of primer really helps to smooth those things out and makes it a lot nicer a finish. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some concealer, and I'm using a kind of a cream style concealer. I find that this particular type of concealer works best for my under eye area. It is very opaque, and even though I'm going to be going for a much more natural finish on my face overall, I definitely want to conceal my under eye circles. So you want to do this step second, largely because powder foundations don't always mix well with cream. So you want the cream to be on and kind of set in place, and that way then you can go on about putting on the powder real quick and it's going to look really good. Powder will also help set the cream. Now I'm using my special IT Cosmetics airbrush concealer brush. This thing I love. I've tried several different concealer brushes, and this one for me works the best. It helps to just really smooth out the foundation or the product, and I'm making sure that it's well blended in all the areas that I used it. Now I mainly concentrated down in this area that is dark, and then I just blended it out from there and made sure that the edges were well blended. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side now, and ooh, that's quite gloppy. Just pop a little bit there where it's the darkest, and we're off to the races. Now I have this very inexpensive brush from Sonja G. This is works nicely to just smooth the concealer, and then I usually go in. So it's sort of a little bit of a two-step process here, and we're just going to kind of cruise up here and move into under eye area. I also have some on my eyelid, and I'll do a little on the other too. I have a little bit of kind of discoloration, minor discoloration, but I think that as we age, it's a good idea to go ahead and add a little bit of concealer or primer to the eyelid. I think a little bit of something that will like kind of smooth out the skin color. That way when you go to put eyeshadow on, that the eyeshadow and the color of your eyelid don't compete, or I think I'm kind of struggling for words here, but essentially you want to make it so that the eyeshadow color that you choose shows. That's why you're wearing eyeshadow, so you want to make sure you neutralize your eyelids so that the color will show. So we're going to go ahead and move into the foundation. The foundation is the Bare Minerals Powder Foundation, and this is part of a kit that I got from Sephora for the rewards program that they have. And this was for 500 points, and I love it because it's a kit. You get like a little smorgasbord of items to try, and this particular kit would be great if you were going to travel, a little weekend kind of overnight kind of situation. And it's just like you just get like a little sampling, and in this particular case you get a little of everything. You'll get a little bit of face, and I'll be showing you later how to use these products to go ahead and get an eye look as well. So I'm just using my Sonja G powder foundation brush. I'm packing on the color, and then I'm just going ahead and applying it to my skin. Now I do have some brown spots, and on a day that I would just be at home, I don't do anything more than just apply some foundation over top of them, and it sort of blends them out a little bit so that they're not quite as pronounced, but it doesn't cover them. To cover them, I would go ahead and just apply some concealer to the spots, blend it out a little bit with my airbrush, and then go ahead and apply the foundation the way you would. So if you want like a real light kind of finish, this is where I would stop. But this is a product that I've been playing with for a few days, and you can layer it. But because we're wanting to just go for 10 minutes, we just want to get something really quick, something that will make us look a little bit perky, something we can wear on Zoom calls. I've just picked up the bronzer that came with the kit, and this is a warm bronze, and I'll go ahead and swatch it for you on my wrist so that you can see. It's a very light, you can barely see it. It's got quite a bit of golden cast to it. It's very buildable here. I would say that if you want to get a very dark kind of bronze, you'd have to use quite a bit in order, you'd have to layer it. But one of the things I sort of prefer to do is just kind of get like a lighter dusting and not have it be super bronzy bronze, especially a warm bronze like this one, because it can begin to look a little bit orangey. And the thing is that this blended with the blush that's in the kit is just gorgeous. So I'm not mad at the fact that this is quite a warm bronzer. So let me go ahead and get my brush and dip in, and I'm going to go ahead and tap it off a little bit, and then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do my cheeks, and I'm going to add a little more to the brush and come up to the forehead. Looks like I'm faced toward the window today, and it looks like we're going to get some little bits of rain. The sky has got like oh, you know how it's got like the splotchy, so you got some blue, and then you got like big, huge, fluffy clouds, and some of them are quite gray. By 11 today, we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain, and just the remnants of a storm that are left over till the next one, because we're in storm season here in Florida. So I'm turning my face so I can see in the mirror. This also seems to have a little bit of a sheen to it, just a little bit. Just make sure that I've got this even. I also like to come at the throat area and along the jawline, and that sort of helps to cast a little bit of a shadow to sort of cover up some of the softness I now have at my jawline. So that is something that as we age, one of the first things that you can sort of do is just run your brush just along the edge and then into this area here, like where I'm very, very soft in here. So I like to just kind of create like a little bit of a shadow. But you need to be careful. One day I was at the coffee shop, and this young girl came in, and all under here, under her chin, was dark, and I realized that she had sculpted under there, and in regular light it did not flatter. So be really careful if you do decide that you want to try to do some of the shadowing techniques to make sure that it doesn't look dirty under there. The next item I'm going to pull is the blush. This is a really, really pretty blush, and let me see. All right, there we go. It's a beautiful, beautiful pinky, peachy kind of color. This is the kind of color that I love to mix with bronzer in the summertime. It's just gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, what I should do for you is give you a little bit of a little bit of a swatch here, and you can see right from looking at the swatch how pretty it blends with the bronzer. In fact, I'll put a little bit on the bronzer and then just sort of blend it out. You can see how pretty that combination is. So I'll go ahead and, I've already got my brush loaded up. I'm gonna tap off a little bit, and I'm gonna come into the cheek area a little bit higher. I've talked about this before in my videos. When I was young, we were taught to smile and then apply your blush. But what happens when you get a little bit older is when you smile and apply the blush, then when you stop smiling, your cheek lowers, and then your blush actually ends up a little bit lower than what you want. So we're gonna come to a slightly higher place than we might think we want. And when I'm finished, you'll see that it actually really looks nice. So I'm kind of lining it up with my eye and then applying it a little bit higher on the cheekbone. It's hard for me to tell between these two mirrors whether or not I'm actually even, but one of the things that I just love this. I mean, to me, this just really is a beautiful color combination. I'm going to add just a little bit to the edge of my hairline. And I like to do that because I actually do have gray all along the sides of my hair, where we are letting the hair just sort of be somewhat natural. And so I like to kind of add a little bit of color around the edges because it does have a way of looking a little bit like I don't have hair, but I actually do. So there we go. That's one of the kind of interesting things about as we get older, we have to make a lot of these little adjustments to our makeup application, not just for the wrinkles and all of those kind of things, but also because our coloring has changed. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my powder brush again, and I'm just going to blend what we've done so far. I like to just kind of give it a blend so that everything, there's no like harsh edges, and I'm just, you know, just kind of coming in, and there we go. So the final pieces of this look are related to the eyes, and you'll notice that the kit did not come with anything for eyeshadow, but it did. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the bronzer again and load up my favorite eyeshadow brush. This is the Marc Jacobs. Now I've already used the concealer on my lids, so the color has canceled out any kind of darkness, any kind of redness that I have on my lids. And I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at them and just tap out anything that is settled into lines. Do it on both eyes. And then I'm going to go in with this bronzer and go into the crease area and then lift at the outer edge with this color. And this is one of the great things about this type of kit, and why it's so fabulous for, like, if you're going away for the weekend, or maybe you rented an RV this year, or you're going on a car ride. Even, you know, like when we used to fly a lot, I would always really pare down my travel makeup, and a lot of times see where I could do double duty with the makeup that I was taking. So that's just one of my little tips. And if you want, you can even add a little bit of blush to the look. into the eye area. In fact, I'll do that for you today. I'm just going to grab some blush. We're seeing a lot of reds and pinks added to the eye area. And at first, I thought that the red was actually quite unflattering. But as the colors and everything are starting to work their way out, we're seeing a lot of warm kind of colors that are really flattering, and especially if you have blue or green eyes. Some of these colors with more yellow and orange are very, very flattering. And the burgundies are really flattering on people with brown eyes. So those are some thoughts for you. Now, the final couple steps would be to apply a little bit of mascara. You'll notice that that's all I'm really doing to kind of create this very quick, natural look. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to go ahead and put my mascara on. And this is just enough to brighten up your look for the day. You look like sort of finished and sort of good in the event that you decide you want to go out and run a quick errand, if you can get out a little bit, or you get a Zoom call and you're not scrambling to, oh my gosh, I've got a call, I've been in my pajamas all day and I don't know what to do. The final step is the lip color, and this is kind of a cool pink. I'll go ahead and swatch it, but you can see how beautiful this color combination looks together. I'll go ahead and put it on. I actually do wear lipstick quite often when I'm at home, and I'll show you the way I kind of do it. I'm going to go ahead and apply it here, and this is a matte color, and it's quite creamy. I do prefer kind of more of a creamy color or products. My lips are perpetually dry. And so what I like to do is I like to go ahead and just use my finger and just gently kind of blend it in. So it doesn't look so makeup-y, and it just sort of looks like a pretty natural kind of look. So this is my little kind of at-home makeup look, and just, you know, easy hair. And it's a 10-minute or less, depending on how quick you are. So that's today, and I hope you have a great one.